Whatever little I know about medical information related to spine and cervical spondylitis is in connection with my training with yoga, dealing with different patients in relation with yoga therapy basically. So what I will be sharing with you will be based on yoga therapy. And of course the medical information also will be there. But then my medical information is just gathered in connection with my studies in relation to yoga. So that much is there. I am not a medical professional. But yes, as far as orthopedic cases are concerned, in my career as yoga teacher, as a yoga student of last 24-25 years, I have come across many medical cases also of orthopedic kind, and where some treatment or some interaction has taken place, some therapies have been taught and some good results have been achieved. So little insight has occurred, and when Evelyn told me that why don't you give a talk on some topic, I said okay, let me take it on cervical spondylitis. So basically when we are talking about cervical spondylitis, it is a problem related to spine. And when we are talking about spine, it is not only the cervical region but the entire spine is getting affected as far as the orthopedic problems are concerned. So we have lumbar spondylitis, we have cervical spondylitis, sometimes in thoracic region also some problems are there. So lots of problems can occur as far as the spine is concerned. But we are concentrating today mainly on cervical spondylitis, because I find that in modern culture, in modern way of living, cervical spondylitis and lumbar spondylitis both are very common, but particularly those who are working on computers, who are working in office and they are dealing with files, they are reading and writing quite a lot, they tend to develop more of cervical region problems. So I thought let me start with that. Now when we are talking about cervical region, you all know that in the cervical 7 vertebrae are there in cervical region. And unfortunately we don't have a chart here, but the chart is here. So roughly this is the region. You all can see these 7 vertebrae are known as cervical vertebrae. So our skull is really placed on the cervical vertebrae, and all the neck movement is possible because of these 7 vertebrae. So cervical spondylitis is what? It is basically, see, when we say cervical spondylitis, normally we get afraid and we are shocked that spondylitis. But spondylitis is, in medical terminology, if you talk to doctors, they will say it is osteoarthritis. Osteoarthritis, cervical spondylitis, spondylosis, these are all common names for the same problem, and generally it is called osteoarthritis. What is osteoarthritis? It is general wear and tear of the joints or of the vertebrae which are there in the cervical region. So what is this wear and tear? Sometimes it happens that due to faulty posture or due to various reasons, the gap between these vertebrae is reduced, and when the gap is reduced, the nerves which are shooting out of this gap between these 2 vertebrae, they get compressed, and when they get compressed, we are getting very severe pain. And this severe pain is so severe that we are totally dysfunctional, and many times it happens that we are not able to function normally. And a study has been conducted where it has been found that a lot of office hours are wasted because of the cervical problems. Now when we are talking about cervical problems, see, the connection is also along with the entire musculoskeletal system, because it is a skeletal system problem. And musculoskeletal system, why I am saying, because both the systems are connected, and lots of problems related to musculoskeletal problems are occurring nowadays, and because of which people take leave and people remain in home, they are taking rest. But one thing is there that my experience with yoga tells me that all these problems can be very easily tackled. Particularly musculoskeletal problems, if we take care little bit and regularly monitor our body and regularly do some little exercise, then it is likely that we can avoid lots of such problems. And I have seen some cases where people just lose their mental balance also when there is a severe problem of this kind. I'll give you an example. 7 years back, I was called to give yoga training to young officers of my department where I am working. So there were around 50 officers, all young people. And the person who invited me to give this lecture and take these sessions, he told me that along with these 50 young officers, I am also sending one patient to you. I said, what is the problem? He said, it's a major cervical problem. I said, okay. And this gentleman is a chartered accountant. He came when I started general session, because these young people, they required yoga for physical purpose, for physical fitness purpose. So I was taking that only. But along with them, he came, and I saw that he was wearing a collar because he had severe problem. Then in between, when I got a little time, I asked him what is the problem. He said, doctor has told me 7 days bed rest. And I have taken that bed rest, and in spite of that I have this problem and I am not able to go, and I don't think I will be ever able to climb this crowded train. He is staying somewhere in Vikhroli area. So he said, I find it very difficult to travel and I don't know how I am going to do this, but I have taken the rest, and then also this problem is persisting, and I come here to deliver lecture because it was an institution. So he was a chartered accountant, he used to come there to deliver lecture on accountancy. So he said, I was suggested your name and they told me that you are going to take classes here, why don't you show me something which I can do. And that's how it started. I told him whatever techniques I was teaching to these young boys, some of those techniques I taught him. I told him that these are to be done with lot of caution. And then on 7th or 8th day of training, every day he came. It was early morning, around 7:30 it used to start. So 1.5 hours to 2 hours I was taking sessions with them. And after 7th or 8th day, he said, I am definitely feeling a marked improvement in me. And I think now I can go to office. He went to office, and when our 10 session course was completed there on the last day, he shared with all these young officers about how he was feeling on the first day and how he was feeling on the 10th day. So this is Monday to Friday, so that means a span of only 13-14 days. He learned those techniques, and within 15 days he got such a relief that he was able to go to office, and he said that I find it is miraculous. And it was very simple yoga techniques. Now again I'll come to this fact that, see, when I'm saying this, don't take it in this sense that okay, it is a miraculous cure and it can cure everybody and it is a substitute for medical treatment. No. Medical treatment apart. So whatever we are going to learn here, whatever we are going to discuss here is a kind of alternative therapy. We can say it is a supplementary therapy. When you have experienced it, when you have got sufficient awareness of the body, mind, and when you know that how you to manage it, then perhaps you can talk to your doctor and ask that medication can be stopped or not. But if the medication has been prescribed, then medication has to be there. So what is this cervical spondylitis? As I told you, it is a degeneration. But it happens that in the course of day-to-day functioning, sometimes we injure ourselves or we, strain ourselves. As a result, there is a lot of inflammation in the joint area. Sometimes you will find the neck area getting completely inflammation. And that this inflammation can cause severe restriction that we are not able to move our neck. And a lot of fomentation is required even to move our neck slightly. Now in such a condition, all those exercises, all those techniques which we are going to learn here may not be of much help. Because that is not the time when you can exercise, that is not the time when you can manipulate your spine or manipulate your muscles. That is the time when medication is required. So somehow we have to control the inflammation. For that, medical treatment is a must. Consultation with doctor is a must. So first we control that inflammation. And when we are going to medical doctor, he will suggest certain muscle relaxants to us. He may suggest certain painkillers to us. Certain sedatives will be there. Muscle relaxants will be must at that time. Because unless those muscles really relax, we will not be able to really gain a pain-free existence. So it is necessary that we go through that phase of pain by taking medication properly and overcoming this. Now it happens that our muscles, why I said this musculoskeletal system are very well connected, because the moment we are doing some wrong action, the defense comes from muscles. For example, if I told you to bend down, and if you are suddenly bending down, what will happen is your muscles will resist it if it is a sudden movement. And in that resistance, they will become very tight. And if they have acquired this habit of being tight, then it will take very long time for these muscles to relax. So many times it happens that stiffness comes because the muscles have become very tight. And unless they become loose, unless they relax, the functional normalcy cannot be achieved. And that's why it is necessary that we take some medication, we take some medicine so that the muscles relax and that area becomes normal, the inflammation becomes normal, and then only we should really proceed with the exercises. all the alternative therapies also, or other therapies also, I would say. Because there are many other alternative therapies like acupuncture is there, massage is there. Now about massage also we have to understand that over massage can be very dangerous, and